Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Double D Vintage Baseball Cards, episode number 4 now. Wow, it's crazy, 4 already. I'm trying to do one a week, so they're flying by every week. It's just going. I'm like, wow, I got another video. Okay, this is sick. Yeah, thanks again for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And check out my eBay store, 314 Sports Cards. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Today I'm going to talk about what the different grading companies mean to me, why I buy a certain card in SGC and BVG and PSA, and like the subgrades on the PSAs and why I like them, and some people hate them. Just a lot of different things, my opinion about these certain grading companies, and what maybe a lot of things that people haven't talked about, that I've always wanted other people to talk about. And most importantly, it's just my opinions on why I buy certain things. Plenty of people out there are going to disagree with me on a lot of these issues, but it's awesome. It's totally cool. It doesn't bother me. This is why I collect. That's why we're collectors. We get to just enjoy what we enjoy, and if we think that's, we like the look of that card, then, and it's way less expensive than this, just go with what you think you can live with and what you're going to enjoy. And that's kind of the road I want to go down tonight. The graded companies are obviously, it's just kind of crazy. But for the rundown for me, I pretty much only buy PSA, SGC, and BVG. I have purchased a CSG. I've purchased 2. One, I wanted to test the waters, check it out, buy a 6 of this and a 7 of this and see the difference. And I like the subgrades. The case is really clear. I have no problem with the tabs on them. They don't bother me. I know they bother a lot of people, but the grade issue is off. To me, it's so far the ones I've seen and the ones I have purchased, they relate to the BVG category, which isn't a category I want my cards to be in. Like, I'd rather have a PSA 6 than a BVG 6. And same thing with the CSG. The grading scale is lower, in my opinion. I'm sure other people have noticed that. People are gonna, obviously the prices reflect that. The other thing I'll touch on is, me growing up through this and living through this whole grading experience as I've been a collector, I've never really looked at the pop reports. This last year or so is the first year I really knew that other card collectors existed in the hobby that wanted to talk about it and express their feelings. It was always just a one-man show, like I've talked about, and just, no one's talked to me about old vintage baseball cards or anything like that in my whole life. Going to card shows, going to card shops, never had that. But I have it now, and I have it over here where I live as well. I have a couple guys, but it all happened within the last 4 years. But the YouTube thing, and it all started with the podcast. Mike Moynihan, I started with him. He's awesome. It was super cool to hear his podcast. I was a super podcast listener, Audible listener. Every book I can get my hands on about baseball on Audible I'm listening to it, guaranteed, and others. But the podcast where I started, and then I found the YouTube road, and so I follow a lot of guys, and I follow guys that I don't even agree with because I like to hear what they have to say. I follow guys that I love super modern cards or ultra modern. I don't even know what you call I think it's ultra modern. The modern stuff is, I guess, my era, but I obviously am a vintage guy. But I follow just a vast majority of a bunch of different people. I want to hear everybody's opinion, because if I'm going down the wrong track and I can catch myself and be like, wow, why were you buying those cards? Or why did you, man, you're into that. Maybe you should rethink that, because this is what this guy has to say about it. I like to hear all that. I don't do the PSA registry. I didn't really even know about any of it until the podcast and stuff. I never went on PSA for pop reports. I always did my research on when I buy a car. I type in the number, make sure it's legit. But I didn't look on there and see, oh, there's 700 of those graded and 2 of this and 7 of that. Never done that. Just started looking at that stuff, glancing at it, but I don't use that in my purchasing situations. I don't think about that when I'm buying a card. If you think about it and go down that route, that's awesome. It's cool. It's another way to do it. I just don't think it's necessary. I don't think you need to go down that route to make money at sports cards and to be a collector at sports cards. You definitely don't need to know that. I never knew that my whole life. I didn't know any of this world existed. And so that puts me in this category, as a lot of you guys probably are too, new to this. The news of all this negative news about certain things happening, and I just shrug it off. It's like anything in this world. If you're into collecting baseball cards, you care that they're going up in value. It's fantastic, but I didn't stop collecting. I bought more when they were lower, 10 years ago, in the last 20 years. I just love baseball cards. So I totally, like I always say, I love the investment part of it too. And you don't want to be played a fool for that. You don't want to be buying loads of something and it's wrong. You got to listen to everything out there, but you don't need to get so crazy about the latest news article about PSA and about this. And I think it's awesome. I like hearing about it. I like the conversations going on about it. A couple of guys I followed, they're into it, and I totally love it. I dig it. But it doesn't change my perspective on the collecting market. And I'm going to buy baseball cards forever. If the prices go up, I'm going to keep buying. If the prices go down, I'm going to keep buying. I'm going to keep selling them on eBay. I'm going to have a good time enjoying this hobby. So this is the road we're going down tonight. Is BVGs, obviously, in my opinion. It's the worst, hands down, out of the three. SGC and PSA, to me, are on a very equal playing field as far as the grading aesthetics of the card. Value-wise, SGC's finally catching up, and it's been years. So us in the hobby have been buying SGC cards, not thinking about the company and just looking at the cards. I like this card. This is good. This is sick. This is okay. You can, for us, the SGC thing's awesome because I think the cases, the black tuxedo cases, are unreal. I love them, especially in certain cards. They just look fantastic. PSA, the slabs are really good. You can drop them. Most time they won't shatter. BVG cases, I'm going to talk about all that stuff tonight. I can't stand the way they hold up. They shatter. You just barely drop them. They chip off. They're clear, except they have a sleeve inside, which I'll show later, which everyone knows about, and they're enclosed. Why do you want to look through a plastic thing and then look through another plastic thing to get to the card? And a lot of the sleeves were foggy and not crystal clear when you buy them. I just skip that part and go straight to SGC and PSA for the viewing of the card. Like, one sheet of plastic's good. You don't want multiple sheets of plastic. You're gonna put it in another sleeve when you get home. Most people like me, and that's good. 2 crystal clear sleeves. Oh, that bothers me so much about the BVG. There's advantages to BVG, which I'll talk about later. SGC, to me, looks fantastic. Their grading criteria is very well. It's comparable to PSA, to the T, I think. A 6, a 7, all comparable. Well, you got to go on the PSA as a collector. You definitely need to be up to trend when you're buying cards on the PSA. 70-30s for the 7s, and 8s are this, and 5s are this, and SGC as well, same thing. You really want to look on those websites for the information to see if they change any of their grading criteria, or just to know what you're buying. If you're buying a 4, is it going to have a crease in it? Well, it might, and it probably will with BVG, and might with SGC, and might with PSA. SGC crease could be worse than a PSA. PSA should be just a slight crease. So you just need to read into that, look into that. That's something that everyone should do. I've done it forever. Just the grading criteria, so when you buy a card, when you buy a 5 in SGC or PSA, you're not getting a crease. SGC, you're not getting a crease. And if you are, then there's somebody didn't see it. If it's top crease or something, they didn't see it. I haven't come across a 5 yet with a crease. I'm sure they're out there, absolutely. But that's the road we're going to go down tonight, and I'm going to show some of the cards in my wall. I'm gonna pull some down, and then I got some cards over here that I picked out, and just the aspects of this 4 is a 4 because this, and this, you know, kind of touch base on the pricing of the cards too, you know, from a PSA to SGC. But yeah, with that said, let's go dive right into it. Yo guys, all right, here's the close-up. Welcome back. Not that you guys went anywhere. So I'm just gonna dive right into it, and the first card we're gonna check out is a BVG. It's a 1960 Hank Aaron. The reason I bought this card is 2 reasons. The price was very nice price for this card. And the way it's off-centered to me is I love 5.5s. You can really get a good deal on any 0.5s, you know, 6.5, 7.5s, any 0.5s, because sometimes you can pay for the price of a 5 and you get the extra benefit, you know, and later you want to sell it, you can just list it as a buy it now and ask for more. This is a PC card. All these cards I'm going to show are PC cards, but yeah, this card's just a really nice looking card. The story about this 1960 Hank Aaron is one of the huge mistakes I've had in my collecting career. I've had times where I sold off, you know, some of my collection, and I had some really high-end stuff that it was so crazy for me. I was younger, and to keep it just felt crazy. But I had a PSA 7 in this, and it was just glorious. And I came across the photo the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, thing's probably worth $1,500 now. I didn't pay very much for it at the time, probably $50 or something. And I ended up selling it for $350, which blew my mind. Probably like 4 years ago or something, or 5 years ago. But I wish I never would have sold it. And I sold a Nolan Ryan rookie that was a 6, perfectly centered. I ended up buying some back, but none of them look as good as that one. I just can't afford those ones anymore. But BVG, everybody knows they're tough. I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get when you get it. You really can look at the photo as best you can, but what really bothers me about BVGs are the sleeve they put in. So they put the card in a sleeve, like a penny sleeve that's sealed. But the penny sleeves, or whatever the sleeve is, isn't very clear. So you're looking through 2 pieces of plastic just to look at the card. And then I put it in another sleeve, and then another sleeve that goes in the book. So it's just looking through too much stuff, and the sleeves they used are not clear. So super bummed on the BVGs for that reason. And when you buy them, you know you're not getting a 5.5 PSA. But sometimes you can, and when you look closely, you can get a good deal. I mean, the market's going to tell you what the card's worth. So that's the best part. You really don't have to do a ton of research. Just make sure you're not overpaying, but you're not going to spend a bunch of money on a BVG 5.5. You know, if you do an auction, buy it at auction, you're going to pay for what the auction ends at, and it's not going to be a 5.5 PSA price. So you don't even have to do too much research on these things. You just buy what you like, and you know the market's going to tell you what it's worth. The next card I'm going to show is a PSA card, and kind of my complaints about PSA. This is going to be a Phil Rizzuto, 1953 tops. This is a really nice looking card. I love this card. I love all these cards. But this one is just really cherry looking all the way around. But I brought this out only to talk about this PSA plastic they put, the pop out PSA on the case. And that bothers me so much. I don't know why they do that. All the 56 tops and all the bigger tops, you know, before that, the bigger size cards, that gets right in the way of the corners. It boggles the mind why they ever did that and who approved that. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know if the newer cases have that, but that's something that it just baffles me that ever got through the production for PSA. I mean, don't put a logo over top of the card. That's a no-no. So I mainly purchase SGCs and these older things now, all the bigger size cards. But very nice looking card nonetheless. I love 5.5s. Very good prices. You know, you get them for the price of a 5 if you pay attention. And yeah, just a really nice. I bought this card because of the coloring. I just love the color. The surface on this is really pretty. So yeah, there's the first two, and there's my tiff with PSA. Otherwise, PSA is, you know, they're cherry. You're gonna get a really nice card when you buy most PSAs. Next one is gonna be an SGC. Knock them all out right now. This is one of my favorite cards of all time. It's just the most. How can you not love a card with two of the greatest players to ever live? It's just magical, this card. I mean, you got Mickey Mantle and Hank Aaron, 1958 tops, batting foes, World Series batting foes. It's unbelievable. I love this card so much. Like I said, this is definitely on my list of top 10 cards of all time. The back's really nice. So this is the SGC 6, and like I was saying before, SGC is completely comparable to PSA in my opinion. A 6, a nice looking 6 PSA is going to look just like this. Full blown exact same thing, and you're going to pay less for this SGC. So I buy the card, I don't buy the company. I look at the auctions, I look at the listings very closely. So just pay attention. You can get really great deals on those cards. So the next one is another one that is it's a PSA, and these are the subgrades I was talking about. I guess they're not called subgrades. I don't know what you'd call that, but I'm all about them. I'm totally into MCs and STs and PDs, the print dots and the stains. If you can't see the problem and they put it on the card and you're getting a huge giant discount, then I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, this says 6 miscut. Miscut's gonna have to be cut, or part of the card is cut out of it. And obviously the front of this card is just perfect. It looks like an 8. Really nice card. This cost $220 something. I bought this on 4 Sharp Corners and on their website, and I love using their website. You could just they put really good deals on there. So see, you can see the miscut on the top, part of another card up here, and cut on the bottom. And you know me, I love backs of cards, but this I can live with. I mean, the corners are cherry. You can read all the stats. It's a really, really nice looking card. I would buy this every day, all day long. I mean, a PSA 6 is going to cost you $450 at least. One like this, probably $600, like centered like that on the front. So this doesn't bother me at all. I'll take the MC on there. A lot of people don't like to see that on their cards, but I don't care. It's the card I want, not the case. So cherry, really nice looking card. I got a couple more here. The next one's off-centered, 1958 PSA 8 Larry Doby. I love Larry Doby's cards. I love, he's in so many history books and so many baseball books that I've read about over the years, that I've been collecting them for a long time. And this PSA 8 OC, it's really nice. I love PSA 8 OCs when they're off centered top to bottom, and this one is so close. Like, who's the judge that this is more than 70-30 off centered? I mean, it could be 70-28, and they just boom off centered. And then you know you're gonna get, with an 8 OC, you know you're gonna get a card that looks like an 8. The surface is perfect, the corners, it's right out of a pack, brand spanking new. Like, you just pulled it yesterday, which I love on cards. I just picture myself opening a pack up and getting this. I mean, I pull cards out in, 2022 that are more off center than this. So yeah, just a great looking card. And I'm always on the hunt for 8 OCs. Really, really nice looking cards. As long as they're off centered where I can handle looking at them. And top to bottom, I mean, this was like $40, this card. So how can you go wrong with that? Oh, that's a really, really, really awesome card. The next one is a CSG. So it's one of those, I bought 2 of them. One of those that I was talking about earlier. It's a nice card. I mean, I love Bob Feller. it's a 1953 Topps, beautiful looking card. But a 7, it's cool. It's got the subgrades, but it's not a 7. You send this to PSA or SGC, and you're getting a 6 or possibly even a 5. So I won't be buying too many CSGs. But even with that said, the market's gonna tell you what to pay. So same thing, you know you're gonna be paying less for this, in an auction. So you're gonna get what you pay for, and you can score a good deal. And look how clear the case is, very clear. I'm not sure why people hate the logo or the label. I see nothing wrong with it, especially when it has subgrades. I think it's awesome. But I probably won't be collecting too many CSGs. I'll stick with the main guys, just so I know what I'm getting. Yeah, so there's those guys. And I was gonna pull some off the wall, but I opted out just because yeah, I just didn't want to redo it at the moment. I'm redoing the right side, so I'm gonna do, I think the next time I'll probably have a whole new set of cards on the wall, and I'm gonna do another museum display. So hopefully that'll come around next time. One more thing I wanted to, this is kind of to reach out to everybody out there who knows anything about these. I bought this, off topic, but I bought this GAI 1971 cello pack just the other day for 150 bucks on PWCC. I couldn't find out anything about it. I saw it on there and it looked like a mistake to me. Like, I know for a fact that if it's a legit, 1971 Topps unopened pack, it's worth a lot more than 150 bucks. I figured it was worth like 1,500. But I don't know, I couldn't find anything about these. Is there supposed to be gum in it? I think these used to come in boxes, and then they were there was like a box inside it, like the old Toys R Us boxes. But yeah, if anyone has any information on this, that'd be awesome. 150 bucks, I figure is worth a gamble. I purchased it right away. I didn't even try and get a lower price. I just said, boom, I'll buy it, done. I can always crack it open one day if I get bored. So 150 bucks, that's awesome. So yeah, there you have it. Those are my, that's my 2 cents on graded cards. There's plenty of other things that I could talk about, but I don't want to be here all day with you guys. You guys be bored to death by now probably. But yeah, I hope you guys liked my video, and thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments I've been getting. Really appreciate it. I'm having an absolute blast doing this, and I'm gonna keep doing them. So thanks so much, and I'm gonna keep watching your guys' videos. Hope you guys keep watching mine, and keep collecting. Baseball cards are fun. It's supposed to be fun, so don't stress out if the cards go down or cards go sideways. Just have a good time with it. Buy what you can afford, and don't spend any more than what you have. You can get really nice looking cards for very inexpensive. You don't have to buy these cards. You don't have to spend 200 bucks on a card. You could spend 20 bucks on a nice card. You could spend 30 bucks on a 4 and just have a really good time with it. Get ungraded stuff. I'm all about all that stuff. I think you can have a really nice collection without, spending all the money you got. So I'm just super stoked on all this. So hope you guys enjoy, and double shaka, and we'll catch you next time. Okay, you.